Hello guys, and welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to talk about lens hoods. The reason they are so important for your camera lens is they shield your lens from lens flare. However, that's not all they're good for. They actually protect your lens and they can be quite costly. So this is the 70-200 Canon lens hood. That will set you back, if you want to buy a replacement, £50. Now the 2.8 300mm prime lens, that will set you back around £500, and the lens hood for the 500 f4 for the Canon lens will set you back a cool £650. So losing these is not a good idea. Now here I have my trusty telephoto zoom, which obviously looks quite nice, doesn't it? But you can think there's, oh, what's wrong with it? There's something missing. The lens hood is not on there, and I'll tell you why. I went to the coast on a windy day and I was taking photographs on the pier and it blew off and it went into the sea. Now I did spend a bit of time trying to locate where it had gone. Because it's plastic, it's likely that it probably does float, and it did have one of these European covers on it, so that would have probably stayed on and helped it float. So I did look around the local beaches, but I couldn't locate it. So safe to say, it was like looking for a needle in a haystack. Now I just want to say that a replacement one for this lens, which is the Sigma 150-600 contemporary lens, is only £30, because it's quite cheap and easy to replace. If you're interested, the Sigma Sport version of the lens hood, which is quite heavy and heavy duty, and it's made out of metal, so it probably would sink in the sea. To get a replacement will cost you £140. Quite a lot of money, so keep that in mind when you buy a big lens, that if the lens hood is important to you, it might be a good idea maybe to attach some sort of gaffer tape with some string attached to the other end of your lens, just in case it blows off and goes missing. Obviously the sport version of the Sigma lens has a screw on it. It has been known for that screw to snap off, and if you do lose your lens hood, it's a hefty replacement bill. So let's go back to my Canon lens, and obviously this is a 70-200, as I said. It'll set you back about £50 to replace. As I said, if you had one of the prime lens hoods, such as the 300 2.8 or the 500 f4, you're looking at well over £500 to replace your lens hood. So it's very important to look after these. Unfortunately, they're not cheap and they are hard to replace. Now if you are interested when it comes to lens hoods, and you don't want to be too worried about it going missing, you might want to consider the 300 f4 or the 400 5.6 prime lenses that are available for Canon, because they have an integrated lens hood. So those might be of interest to you if losing your lens hood is an issue. So to give you a bit of background, what happened is I went to Whitby, which is basically a resort, quite popular in the UK. If you guys in the States don't know, it's on the east coast, just above Scarborough. If you want to check that out on the map, please do feel free. It has really nice coastline, lovely place to visit. Be mindful if you're driving, obviously the speed cameras, but what I want to say is be careful if it's windy, you're on the pier and you're taking pictures, you might not hear your lens hood fall to the ground, and if it's windy it'll blow it right off the pier into the sea and you'll lose your expensive lens hood, especially if you're using some sort of expensive prime 500 or 300mm 2.8 f4 lens. Those lens hoods are expensive, so be careful. I just wanted to talk about the benefits of lens hoods. What do they do? Obviously I've said they prevent lens flare, and that's true. However, there's more to it than just that. Obviously you might have a filter on your front element to protect it. Some of you might say that degrades quality, I don't want a filter on. Other people will say I want a UV filter on. Personally, I have one on my big lens. I'll show you that here. My Sigma Contemporary. I don't know if you can see that in the photo, but it's quite a big chunky one. That's the expensive shatterproof one you can buy, which is about £100 for the 95mm one, or you can spend £150 for the Sigma Sport one, which is 105mm. It's a good thing because one day I watched someone who had, I think it was a 70-400 Sony lens, and what happened was he was at the bus stop and it dropped. Bang! And luckily the actual filter saved the lens. Now I think it's a good idea. It might degrade quality a little bit, but saying that, you know, you can't be too careful with expensive lenses, you know. So I just wanted to talk about, you know, lens hoods in general. Basically you want one to protect your lens. Basically if you're having one mounted on your body, like so, that's protecting your lens. So let's say, for example, I've got a zip here and my coat has got a metal zip, and let's say I didn't have that on, right, and let's say I had it mounted on me at some point. Obviously it's a bit higher than it would be, but it's rubbing against the zip, the front lens element. You're going to damage your front element if you ain't got a filter on. So I just want to make it clear what a lens hood does for you. It's very important that you have one, not just for cutting out lens flare or dust or anything flying into the front of the lens, or water or ocean spray or anything like that. But what you need the lens hood for as well is to protect your lens, because it will stop leaves, branches getting in there. If you've got quite a big one, it's even better. The longer the better. But I just want to point out that lens hoods do more than just protect stray light getting into the actual front of the lens when taking a picture. So just remember that, guys, when you're thinking about carrying a big lens and you don't want to take a lens hood with you because you think it's big and bulky, I don't need it, it will save your lens. An example is if you've got that attached to your lens and it drops, right, you might break that, but you're going to save this. And you know, obviously these aren't cheap. Obviously going back to the Canon and the 300 2.8 and the f4 lenses with their lens hoods, they're expensive, but they are made out of metal, so you're unlikely to damage those, or if you did, you might just dent it or something like that. But yes, if you do have a Sigma one, like I've got here, Sigma lens, and you lose your lens hood, which is quite cheap, believe it or not, the Contemporary lens hood is only £30, really cheap. So in fact I'm quite lucky that I didn't buy the Sport and I went for the Contemporary, because getting a replacement lens hood is only going to cost me £30. If I'd had the Sigma Sport, it would have set me back £140. Just keep that in mind, guys, that lens hoods can be expensive. I just hope this little blog has been helpful about lens hoods, to tell you about what they do for you and the costs involved. Canon ones generally are more expensive than the third-party manufacturers. You can buy cheap versions of these off eBay, but generally they won't have the felt inside, and the felt sort of helps manage any sort of stray light or lens flare coming into your lens. So that's another reason why to get original ones, you know. So I just wanted to do a brief video about lens hoods, and thanks for watching.